Milsurp Garage with some channel news. I'd like to introduce realisticsnapcaps.com as the place where I get these awesome looking snap caps. And was in touch with somebody over there, and they're nice enough to offer a discount coupon for my subscribers or people coming from my channel to buy from them, where they'll offer 10% off, and plus this place does not charge for shipping. So what you see on the website minus 10%, and I mean these things are cheap enough as it is. 10% off is like, what a great deal. I wish I would have had 10% off when I was buying these things for myself, to tell you the truth, because let's see, I have 357, 32, 45, 9mm, 44, 380, and this was the one, 25 caliber. These were just brand new. They didn't really have them in full production yet. And I asked if, I could be notified as soon as they're available. And some nice gentleman from there said, absolutely not. You're just like everybody else. Just sit back and relax. No, that's not what he said. He said, I actually have a few sets of them that are ready. We're just not ramped up to full production yet. And this guy was so awesome. He sent me a couple of sets. I was happy to buy them and get the first ones, and here they are. And now they have them listed on the website, and they're making them. Now the guy was so nice. I figured, let me ask him. I'm like, I love your stuff. I have a YouTube channel. Can I do a video on your snap caps? And he was very receptive, and I actually thought of an idea. So sponsor, I use this term loosely because I just want to be very clear, because I'm looking at even the YouTube rules as to having sponsorship. I have to be very forthcoming with what I'm actually getting from them. If I'm going to be showing you something and saying hey, use this, I have to be upfront with if they're compensating me. Apparently that's YouTube's rule, it seems like. I'm still not sure. It's really when you try to read YouTube's rules, you get so convoluted. And I'm going to do a video soon on exactly what's been going on with the monetization. I thought maybe you guys would be interested in how that works and what makes them demonetize my videos. I thought it was kind of interesting. But and what monetization actually means, how much you actually make, if anything. Believe me, it's nothing. So don't get excited. But a channel like this, it's almost, you would say it almost doesn't even matter what you make from it. Let's put it that way. It's not only not life changing. It's not even day changing. It's not even like lunch changing. But so where was I? So these guys are they're not compensating me monetarily. I just want to be very clear. But what the deal I have worked out with them is that if enough people come directed from my channel using the coupon code. Now the coupon code, I have it listed in the description there, but it's Milsurp Garage, one word, MILSURPGARAGE. You put that in the coupon code area during checkout, you will get 10% off. There is no shipping, you know what I mean? So if you're buying, let's say, I think 20 or 10 9mm snap caps might be $20. You're going to get $2 off, no shipping. They're going to be $18. I mean, that's it. It's nice and simple to order from them and everything, being that you don't have to worry about anything else being added. You're only going to get a discount from what you see on the screen. Nothing's going to be added. So that is pretty cool. These things are for the money. Trust me when I tell you, this is the only way to go. I'm going to break it down a little bit here for you. But so the story is that if enough people use the coupon code and he sees that, worth it for me to be doing videos on his stuff, he's going to send me some rifle caliber ones, and I'll review them, and we'll cycle them through some rifles and check it out and see, because he's got everything. He's got lots. So let me show you what I normally dealt with. Well, first of all, before I even show you those, let's go with these. These are the types of snap caps that originally I used with just these plastic things, plastic like this. Okay, they were like the ultimate in junk that would fall apart and There's no space back here for a firing pin recess or anything like that. So the firing pin would just destroy these things if they had. These are basically junk. You can't even use them once. They're just trash. So if you have any of those, or if you were originally buying those because they were cheap, then you moved on. Now all these other ones I've thrown them away. You can do videos. You can look online. There's 8 billion videos on different kinds of snap caps and how they're all videos on just various stages of how horrible they are. I'm telling you. All those ones with plastic, with springs inside, with all kind of nonsense. Aluminum ones, they're junk. And snap caps is actually like a brand name. It's kind of like Lysol. It's really like, disinfectant spray or something like that. But it's called Lysol. It's like a brand name. Snap caps is like a brand name for one company. They're really just called dummy rounds or whatever, right? So these I had picked up years ago. These are the only ones that kind of hung around and stayed with me, because after messing with all the plastic and aluminum, this is what filtered through, that these were the only ones that made any sense. And I had several calibers of these. I had given them away when I found out about realisticsnapcaps.com. I got rid of everything else. These I just found in a drawer, still rolling around. I was desperately searching for stuff to put on this video to show. I never saved any of the junk that fell apart. The aluminum ones, pieces come off. The plastic ones, chunks come off. They all get inside the gun. This is dangerous stuff. Pieces of stuff getting inside the gun like that make them not work. Okay, they mess up mechanisms, trigger mechanisms, and everything. You don't want pieces of plastic or pieces of aluminum. The thing about the brass is that it gets scored and it gets dented and it gets scratched, but chips don't come off of it. That's why the brass is the only way to go. I used these for a long time. Now here's the thing. I'm going to zoom in for a minute. This is why these, the one setback with this brand, I had a few different calibers of these, is that if you look at the primer pocket, the primer pocket is just empty. You could actually see where a firing pin struck the brass anyway. That they're all like that. That the firing pin for something I was firing would still travel far enough inside that pocket to strike the brass, and that can mess up the firing pin. It's not supposed to be hitting. It's supposed to be hitting a nice soft cup, primer cup. It's not supposed to be hitting anything as solid as these solid brass. Look, all of them are the same way. There's nothing inside this primer pocket there. So when you're dry firing, it's dry firing the same as whether you had this in there or not. And the whole idea is you want to protect the gun. All guns are different. Some of them, you can dry fire them all day and it doesn't hurt them. Some of them, it's not such a good idea. And some of them, it's just downright terrible. Now, I want to show you something look at this one. This one doesn't have a primer pocket, and look at how there's a hit that it had taken there a couple of times when someone's pulling the trigger on anyway. This is not meant for the trigger to be pulled on it because it doesn't even have a primer pocket. But here's an issue with some of these. I want to show you. Some of these are of such bad quality, or not necessarily bad quality, but they're of the quality where these bullets eventually become loose. And you use bullets loosely because they're really not, it's really not supposed to be like a regular lead bullet. But what happens is, if you're using a regular case and bullet, see, a lot of people would say, why do you have to even make snap caps? Just take a case, an unfired case, so that it's not swelled up and it won't fit. Take a unfired case, load a bullet into it like you're reloading. Just load a bullet in there and just don't put a primer and don't put powder. It's like, yeah, okay, you're going to have the proper, that's actually a good thing because you transfer to one of these, you're going to have the proper weight. You're going to have the heaviness in the front. And then there's actually going to be the projectile in the front where it's, if you're doing magazine loading drills or stuff like that, the weight's going to be proper, and it is out of the same material that a normal bullet would be made out of. The problem is that that crimp that's made when you put a bullet in a case, it's really only meant to be loaded and unloaded just a few times, let's say. Not many times. If you keep loading and unloading these things, eventually these bullets, they're going to loosen up. They're going to loosen up on here. If you feel them, if you have any rounds that you had, this is why they say never tumble live ammo. You could tumble live ammo, and you could lose. One of the things that could happen is that you could loosen the bullets in the case. Just on a side note, another thing that you do is break up the powder, and you change its properties of how it burns. So that's another reason why they say don't tumble live ammo. But anyway, back to this. This is how Brandon Lee died. Let me explain to you how Brandon Lee died. There's a thing with these snap caps. You say they're inert. They're not dangerous. They can be dangerous. They can be very dangerous. Anything that has to do with guns can be dangerous. Trust me. There's no such thing as any inert anything. Even a snap cap bullet can kill you under certain circumstances, and I'm going to explain to you how Brandon Lee died. When you film movies that have to do with guns, you have two different kinds of bullets. There's bullets that look like this, and there's bullets that look like that. But neither of them are a real bullet. So you'd say, how do we prevent people from getting killed around a movie set when you have guns around? The answer is, we never have real ammo. If we never have real ammo, we'll never have an accident. That's what they thought. They were wrong. Accidents are so crazy. You know, it's like that Jurassic Park thing. Like, you could never control. You're trying to control things in a way that they can't be controlled. You know, like if it can happen in ways that you'll never be able to predict certain things. You know, they said, well, we'll make all the animals one sex. You know, how would they possibly breed? So he was saying, because everything happens. It's going to happen. It can happen. Anything can happen. And then you sit there later going like, wow, that's how that happened. But you gotta imagine that you're never going to be able to predict how that bad thing happens, but you just have to be able to identify the fact that it can. Now, this bullet that they would have on a movie set would be a primer and powder and just a piece of paper up here, paper wadding or something to prevent the gunpowder from spilling out. But there would be no projectile. All that would do would be to make a bang. Nobody can get killed with that because it just makes a bang. The second type of bullet they would have on a movie set would be a bullet that looks real. It has a projectile looking thing on here. Well, it is a projectile. It's just basically a bullet without powder inside that might not even have a primer pocket. Very similar to this, so that there are no mistakes no matter what. There could be no primer on it no matter what. So this could very well be the type of bullet that you would see on a movie set. But chances are it would actually even look like a real bullet. But just even the primer would be inert. So it wouldn't squib fire, nothing. It would just be inert totally, but look real. The reason why they would need two different kinds is because sometimes you need to show bullets, you know, and they have to look real. And sometimes you have to show a guy loading a gun, and the bullets have to look real. And then other times, you don't really see the bullets, but you see a guy firing a gun, and it has to fire real. It has to, flames have to shoot out of it, and big loud noise. And so that's why you would need both. But you're never having both things together. So you're never having the bang and the flash and the powder with the bullet. The bullet would be just totally inert. It would just be for looks. Now, that's exactly how they would make these movie bullets, is they would just take a case and press a bullet into it, and they'd be like, there you go, we didn't put any powder in it, that'll never hurt anybody. But they're not made to go in and out of guns hundreds of times filming movies. A bullet is made to come to you, you know, in in a box, like this. And maybe, a couple of times you take that bullet out and you load it. This is a bad example to bring that out. That's a destroyed 45-70 round. But the bullet is made to be loaded. All right, maybe not once. They're made where they could come out of the gun and load and unload and load and unload. But even certain police departments, they have a certain amount of time where they go, okay, whatever ammo you have, shoot it out. Put fresh stuff in, whatever. Because bullets loosen up just from getting jostled around a lot. The powder changes. If it's disc powder and it starts to get broken up into more finely ground pieces and everything, the burn rate can change. So even in police departments, there's such a thing as getting rid of what you got in the gun, either shoot it or just dump it and put fresh stuff in at certain intervals, right? Well, these movie people, they didn't have any intervals. They would just think they could just use those bullets forever. Well, this bullet was loaded into a gun during a scene where they had to show a gun being loaded. The bullet was put in, and then when that scene was filmed and it was time to film the next scene of the gun actually being used, they dumped all these cases out, not realizing that this projectile had come loose, and they dumped them out and didn't realize there was one case with a bullet missing. And this was lodged inside the cylinder. I believe when they were filming that, it was a revolver. Okay, so they were using a revolver like this, and they took this dummy round and put it in here. And when they dumped it out, they didn't realize that just a case came out and the bullet was in here still. Okay? And then when it was time to actually fire the gun, they just slipped the case in here, closed it up, and essentially by taking that one that will explode and sliding it right up against the bullet that was in the cylinder, made a bullet. This could very easily happen to you if you're using cheesy snap caps like this. You don't ever want them to ever come loose, so that's very important to the manufacturer. Can't just use regular methods that you would normally crimp to normally put bullets into cases. So don't use those. Don't make your own is what I'm trying to say. So I'll show you some different ones. Let's take a look at, we were just showing that one in a 357 revolver. Let's show the 357 ones. You see, first of all, they have a patina to them that look kind of unusual. And that's to help you differentiate. And then the bullet tip will be kind of like a different color. Seems like realistic snap caps tries to capture an unusual look to them. But because they're brass with a regular looking projectile and everything, and they don't look red and plasticky or anything like that, you do have to use extreme caution to make sure these things are not getting mixed up with live rounds. I have a completely separate place where I keep these. I never mix live ammo with them. And as a matter of fact, live ammo is never easily accessed in my shop. It's always behind lock and key, behind locked drawers, in compartments where, I have to take this stuff out when I do any kind of video where I show live ammo. I just have laying around, I'll have like a bunch of brass, I'll have stuff like that, I'll have stuff like this, just anything that's inert, fine. Nothing live, you know what I'm saying? So these guys, look at the quality of these guys. And what's cool about these, let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to show you something else that they do here. Let me get a tool. I got a nice tool that I could use for this. See right here, the primer pocket? The primer pocket is like a gel kind of thing. See, like if I push in, it'll make an indentation, and then that indentation will gradually go away. Now listen, I've had these things. When I first got these, I was like, oh, that's going to fall out, pretty soon. I have all different kinds of calibers. Not one gel thing on the inside has ever fallen out. And the cool thing about it, I'll show you here. So, I zoomed out all the way. Let me zoom out all the way here. So we'll take our 357 Smith & Wesson revolver, and we'll load these. See, and that I like too is that the primer's even there, a dark color. You know what I mean? They're not like a color that's could even look like silver. Like right away just by looking at these that these are your inert rounds. See, not only do you not want live rounds around your inert rounds, which could be disastrous, you also do not want your inert rounds around your live rounds, which could be disastrous. You definitely want to keep them separated. You don't want any kind of cross-contamination either way. Now look at see how this is a pinned and recessed Smith & Wesson revolver. So look how gorgeous, look how perfectly these fit in here. This is a way to get that feel for exactly how well they go in there. Look at the precision, how these things are made, how they plop down in there like that, right? See that? You know what I mean? And you can check to make sure you have the perfect fitment here, that they fit. And with the revolver, you could tell if you pull the trigger, you hold it down, it's the only way to get the hammer to fall all the way down where you have the hammer pressing, and you could feel the gumminess right there of that primer. You could feel that it's hitting it. You understand? So you know that it's taking up the shock like it should, because you could feel that gummy feel to it. And this is the only way to do drills like this with a Smith & Wesson trigger, to feel exactly when it breaks, and you know that you're getting cushioned here, and your single action break, and you know that you're getting cushioned by the snap caps inside that are hitting the assume that's silicone, but I did not find that out. I was going to find that out, but whatever it is, it's awesome stuff. Here, let's do another one. Let's do semi-auto. Let's do 45. See, I keep these all in bags. I tag them and bag them. Have them all the same way, like this in bags. So let's do the 45s. Let's take what do we use here? We'll use a Taurus PT 1911 AR. Nice. Make fun of it all you want. I love it. So here we can do, like practicing loading. Like, this is good for beginners. You have somebody that you're going to bring to the range. You have to show them how to load the magazine, how to put the magazine in the gun, how to chamber that first round. These would be important things. I got 10 of these. You always want to do like up to whatever. Like I think they sell the 357 and the 44 in groups of 6. They're smart about how they sell them, and as long as you get 10 of these, because I have 8-round magazines, 7-round magazines for 45, you know what I mean? And if you get that revolver that has those little clips or whatever, then you would need 6, but you would never need, more than 10 for just your purposes of loading and shooting. 10 will be okay. Then there's some of them, like if you have high cap 9mm magazines, you might want 20, you know what I mean? So if you have like a Glock 17, you could go through loading with those. You know what I'm saying? You would buy as many as you would need to do your drills. And look at how nice. Look, I'm even going to lower the hammer. So I even have to draw the hammer back. Look at how nice and smooth how these things function like real. Listen to that. That doesn't sound, when you rack the slide, it never sounds like that unless you're chambering around. And these things are going to sound exactly like what they sound like when they chamber around. Watch how nice these, thanks, Taurus. There you go. You made yourself look great. Watch how, and now it's double feeding. Boy, are people going to laugh at that. This thing is usually like a clock, but I pulled a little slow. That's what it was. So look at how smooth these things cycle. So, you know, drills that you want to do with loading and cycling. Somebody was showing me online, there's drills for the return of the trigger. So in other words, what you would do is you would like have one of these in here, and what it would be interesting to check is that you would want to pull the trigger and then by hand cycle the action still on the trigger, and then you would want to feel when it resets. See, that's the trigger reset. Oh, that was beautiful on this one. That felt really nice. But feeling your trigger reset is an important part of getting to know like a gun that you're, especially one that you're going to carry all the time for self-defense. And that's interesting that you would use these snap caps for that, because when you pull the trigger, you don't want to dry fire it. You know what I'm saying? So that was interesting. What else do we have here? So this, I'll show you, you know, we did the 25s just recently. Let's show you, all right, let's do the 9mm. What can we do the 9mm in? Let's do the 9mm in, let's do the 9mm in a Glock 17. There's a lot of Glock fans out there, so let's do, let's just do 5. 5 of these in a nice function checking. Whatever you want to do with these things, look at these 9mm ones. Look at how awesome those things are. And again, you get the protection with the with that gel stuff inside that just does not come out. It's not wet or anything. It's hard. It's like if a firing pin hits it, it'll it'll get protected. You know what I mean? What else do we have? We can do, let's do some of these in the Monster. Let's take out the Monster. Model 29. Check out the 44 mags. Massive. Oh, are we too close to the camera? Listen to these things when they fall. Whoops. One got away. Hold on. I'm back. But, you know, where else would you be able to... You don't want to be messing around like this with live ammo. And again, you can even hear that. Listen. Hear how it's falling? Listen. Watch if I pop one out. If I pop one out and I drop the hammer on that one, listen. See? No, let me go to the next one. See? Tell me that firing pin isn't contacting that gel stuff inside and cushioning it. Hell yeah. You find another snap cap that's doing that. And I should have pulled up prices, to quote prices for these things. But I'll tell you, 6 of these, not a lot of money. 10% off with Milsurp Garage coupon code and no shipping. How could you beat that? How much were 6 of these? I wish I could remember. It wasn't a lot of money. Anyone that has a 44 Magnum and doesn't have 6 of these things to play with, Listen, it's really cool to sit around and play with the guns that you have. I mean, who wouldn't want to mess around with these things? They're just fun to even just handle and examine. They're like works of art. And my father used to have a philosophy, all right? My father used to say, you can play with the gun. Like, he had a couple of rifles, you know what I mean, when I was a kid. And he used to say, you can play with the rifles all you want. I know you're always going to find them. No matter if I try to hide them, you're always going to find them. If I tell you not to play with them when I'm not around, I know you're going to mess with them. So play with the rifles all you want. And I also know that, I have ammunition for them. And I know that no matter where I hide them, you're going to find it. And no matter how much I tell you not to mess with the ammo, you're going to mess with it. You can mess with the ammo all you want. But here's the rule. You cannot mess with the ammo and the gun at the same time. It has to be complete and total separation. If you want to play with the gun, take out the gun, play with the gun, play with it for an hour if you want. That's just fine. Don't touch the ammo. Put the gun away. Then you can take out the ammo. Play with the ammo. You're done with the ammo, put away the ammo. Lock it back up. Then take the gun back out. Never together. It was a really cool philosophy where he's trying to kind of do what the movies would do with the bullets, and say, try to make something fail-safe. But in a case like this, that's kind of pretty fail-safe. That's a good one. That's a good one. A lot less can go wrong than messing around with, live. As long as you have, the way I look at it, as long as you have powder, primer, and bullets all in the same area, there's always a chance for an accident. But if you only have guns around, nothing could ever happen. And if you only have bullets around, unless, you're hitting them with a hammer and a nail or something, which, you should have your head examined. As a child, that's kind of like pulling the wings off of a fly or something, or harming small animals. I always knew not to screw around with ammunition. As long as you're just examining it, cataloging it, and just admiring it, there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as they're completely separated like that. Was my father's philosophy. And it's kind of like a good philosophy to have, even when you're older, and instead of just not being able to do drills with loading or stuff like that, you just use these 32 caliber, 44. Here's some 380s that I got. 9 mil, 357. I have paid for all these, ladies and gentlemen. None of these were sent to me for free. RealisticSnapcaps.com. Check out the website. See what there is up there. There's a lot of information. It's pretty cool. Listen, these things are made in the USA, Phoenix, Arizona. But not just that. They're made in the USA. And the machinery that they're made with is made in the USA. This is a 100% made in USA company. You know what I mean? There's like American flags all over their website. It's like there couldn't be anything more. I was just like, I'm actually just so proud to have these guys actually go like, yeah, talk about us and send your guys to us, send all you people on your channel to us, and we'll gladly supply them with whatever they need. They had like every rifle caliber you could possibly need, and I'm like, I'm eager to get my hands on those as well, you know what I mean? And so they say, guys, if you're interested, use that coupon code, and hopefully I'm not just completely embarrassed. And hopefully I get a lot of people that go in there and buy, and I'm just hoping I get an email back from this guy, and he's like, yo, your people are cool, because a bunch of them came, they dropped some nice notes about you, and we'd love to have you do another one of your videos and reviews on some of our rifle caliber stuff, so it's on the way. That would be nice. So I would feel proud. So where are we with this channel here? What did we just do? Trying to remember, what did we just do? We just did that little Beretta pocket pistol. Was that thing awesome? I loved it. Here it is. Oh, man. All aluminum and everything. You know, I forgot to mention on this thing, it was James Bond's original gun before the whole PPK thing started. This is in the books. This is what he carried. A Beretta 418 aluminum chassis on this thing. And 25 cal. So I remember, I think didn't we load some of these up in the video? I think so. Let's check out the 25 cal. Look at these awesome, like, skeletonized Beretta mags. How awesome are these things that you always could see right through them. And that spring changing kit, how awesome was that? I did the magazine spraying, by the way. So this is a plus 5% magazine spring that's in here now. I figured if I got it, I might as well. So yeah, that last round did feel a little tighter going in there. And then to chamber. Yep. There we are. And it did that again. I'm convinced when this thing fires, it's not going to do that. So we'll see you at the range. But look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. How would you know this was going on? You're going to do this with live ammo? You're going to be stuck right now with live ammo like this, and you're going to go, oh, let me clear this. Like, you know, how do you know that when you're dropping the mag, the slide isn't going to fly forward and you already squeezed the trigger, so maybe the sear's disconnected and maybe the striker pops off. You mess around with live rounds doing function checks like this in your house, and you're going to be putting a bullet through the wall. I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. You don't mess with live ammo unless you're at a range. And even if you're at a range, how do you keep this now pointed in a safe direction as you try to figure out what's wrong? You're going to be all over the place. You're going to be going, let me see if I can, let me get this out of here. That's what's going to be going on. You got to do your function checks with these snap caps, I'm telling you. And see, like here now, we can figure, all right, the mag won't come loose. So what do we do here? Let me pull this back with my nail, maybe. No, oh, there you go. It kind of came out. There we go. See how that just fell forward? That just fell forward on a round. Who knows where that firing pin was? The firing pin on this gun, on the magazine, wasn't even fully seated. And that's sticking out. All of these things, look at this. All of these things are all found out. And we still have a round in here that isn't even picked up by the extractor. See if we can get this picked. Now the extractor picked up that round. Now it's picked up. Unbelievable. And if you look in here, let's open this up. If you look in here, you see that firing pin? Hold on. I got to show you this. The firing pin here is the extractor. You see it there, right? Right there, sticking out. How do you know that wouldn't have just set that round off? What condition? This thing is from 1919 or something. You know? You ain't suing anybody. If you put a bullet through your big toe, Beretta's going to be like, what? You don't even know who made that thing anymore. Anyway, yeah, that's what you need. Realistic snap caps, in my opinion. That's going to save you from shooting yourself in the foot with a Beretta 418. If only that, then they're worth it. Wouldn't you think? And look, these 25 caliber ones are like off the hook. Look at the quality. I'll bring it up close to you. Look at the quality of them. You can even tell by listening to them. These things are like, they're weighted perfectly. And even these teeny little 25 caliber rims, they were able to get that shock absorbery material in there. Not one of them on any of these snap caps ever fell out. These things have been dropped all over the floor. Countless tests on firing, banged around in these bags, in my range bag, going places or whatever. And I'm always expecting in one of them I'm going to find one of these things fell out. I already have the plan, like I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue to glue it back in. Never had to. They never came out. I don't know what the hell they put them in with, but they're in there perfect. And so that's that. RealisticSnapcaps.com. Milsurp Garage as the coupon code Hope you visit. Hope you take advantage. And we're coming back. What are we coming back with? We're going to move up the line of these Berettas. We're going to go from 25 caliber to 32 caliber to 380 caliber to 9mm. So we're going to do 4 Berettas in a row. We've done number 1, and I'm going to take this thing to the range, and I'm going to show you that it will not hang up like that during a live fire. I promise you. It's just that these pocket pistols do not do well with manual manipulation like that. This guy was the same way. This guy. And this thing at the range was amazing. This thing at the range, I think I might have fired 200 rounds through it. It didn't even burp. It was perfect, and it felt perfect in my hand. I didn't even think it was going to feel good in my hand. This is the Colt 1908 vest pocket. And it didn't do well with function drills either, because they just don't like to be cycled slowly, those. You know what I mean? But, you know, you find that out. That's what's cool about these snap caps, is you get to really check out how they function under different circumstances, and how they load, and how they, when you go to the range, you're more familiar, and that's the goal. All right, everybody, so we'll be back soon with our second of the 4 Berettas. And then where we go from there, who knows? But if you have some interest, just try 1 caliber and try them out. Take a look online. If you're really hesitant, take a look online. See which one you have the most guns in that caliber. If you have the most in 9mm, buy a set of the 9mm ones. You know what I mean? I think they come 10 in a set, 9mm. Get 10 of them and check them out. See how they work, and then you're gonna fall in love with these things like I did, and you're gonna have to have one in every caliber for every gun you have. Trust me, because sitting on the couch messing with them while you're watching TV is a whole lot more fun when you could do like live cycling drills. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll see you soon.